There you guys are. All right, let's figure this out, okay? Who's gonna be sitting in the front seat?
I'll go shotgun.
All right, and then you can come on up, and that way we can see you. I want to be able to see you guys. All right, that's pretty good. All right, well, we'll make it work.
Okay.
One way or the other. We got that camera there too, so that all works.
Okay.
So, what are you guys doing today? What were you doing in the Greenhound building?
We were editing our paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about it.
The paper or the whole project?
First, the paper.
Okay, the paper. Right now, we're working on our
Hello, Rosie.
on our findings, results, and conclusions. So we're wrapping up next week.
So how long you been here?
We've been here since October 21st.
Oh my
I believe.
gosh.
Yeah, I know.
That's all you've been doing for your semester, pretty much?
Pretty much for this half of the semester. Yeah.
All right, tell folks out there what you've been here doing.
We've been here, there's 24 students over here, and we're working on different projects proposed by people around town. So we're in groups of 4, so it's about 6 projects going on. We're all on the same team. We're working with the planning office on parking in town, which is definitely a big issue. And some of the other projects, one team's working with the energy office about promotion of solar panels. One team's working with Nantucket data platform, trying to get better data of how many people are on island, who's on island, where they're going. What are some of the other ones? A group's working with Mariah Mitchell Association to improve wayfinding and a lot of their marketing strategies.
Okay. Richard.
Yeah.
What grade are you in?
I'm junior. Same with everyone here.
Okay, and Shannon, what do you want to be? I mean, are you doing what you want to be?
Or are you studying civil engineering?
Yep.
So I don't know what I want to do with my degree yet, but I've done some internships in construction, and I found that really interesting. So maybe project management or something like that would be cool.
Okay. And where are you from?
I'm from Sandwich, Massachusetts.
You're from Sandwich?
Yeah.
You are?
I'm from Long Island, New York.
Long Island, and Richard?
I'm from Natick.
Natick, okay. So, parking, huh? I mean, did you find anything out we didn't know?
There hasn't been too many new findings. It's mostly we're just trying to get a feel for where the town's at now, as far as viewpoints on their definition of the problem, specific areas where they see for improvement, and just things that can help alleviate some of the congestion. There's definitely a big traffic component to it too. But yeah, we've been doing interview surveys, just trying to help the town see where there might be some consensus on moving forward with updating the system or improving it in any way they can.
And what are you finding?
Well, a big thing is paid parking, which there's definitely a big split on. There's definitely those people who will never really want to pay for it, but there's a good amount of people who think it's time to maybe move forward with some type of paid parking, to provide additional funding with the town and to maybe help promote some extra turnover and in those kinds of areas.
And what kind of paid parking are we?
We have like different suggestions based on like the time frame, because some of them take longer to implement than others. Right now we're just trying to do we're thinking about recommending like a sticker program to get revenue and just like disincentivize people from parking downtown.
Should be more of a one-time fee.
Would you stick it up top, or where would it be?
It would just be like the annual beach sticker that you would buy.
Okay, but does it have a chip in it?
No, but you could implement a RFID chip system. So you could, in theory, have certain permissions that where you could park, and that would be stored on the database. But your chip will have an ID, so when the scanner scans it, it would go to the database, check that ID, and see what permissions it has, and check and see if you were allowed to park in certain areas.
It's kind of a new technology being applied to parking. Cities like Vienna have started to use it. We've contacted reps from over there to see how it's working for them.
Vienna, Austria?
Yes, yeah. So it's still in the early stages of being used towards parking, but
I could see a lot of people having a problem with any kind of privacy issue.
Exactly.
Knowing exactly where you are. Okay. What other options for paid parking are there?
There's also hourly rate, which would be,
Don't we do that now?
well, right now it's just, well, it's free parking, but there's time restrictions on it.
Yes.
Whereas like the hourly rate, there wouldn't be the time restrictions there are now, and you could pay for however many hours you want to park. So that would change the current system a lot more than a one-time fee, which would still have the time restrictions in place. But people might like that because you might be able to park for longer if you need to come downtown for longer.
Well, what's the idea? Is the idea to acquire as money for the town? Yeah.
Like, well, with the hourly rate, you could kind of incorporate some demand-driven pricing in there. So if you really don't want people parking right in the core district that too much, you might up the charges a little more so people will think twice about bringing their car. They are like, do I really need to do that, or can I walk? Can I bike? Can I take a bus?
I think overall it's just to relieve the congestion that's downtown, and like,
Does it make sense to do a parking garage? Or have you been looking into that?
Yes, we think it would be useful to have a parking garage, not only because it provides the spaces that you would need. For like employees, that's one big thing. People don't have dedicated employee parking. And that creates some congestion. So if you had a parking garage, that would give some parking spaces to employees. You would also, if you incorporate some kind of demand-driven pricing on the streets, that gives some incentive.
Demand-driven pricing?
Yeah, so in certain areas where there's less demand for the parking spaces would be cheaper. So say like 50 cents. And so people would want to use that parking space. The only downside is it might not be close to where you need. Whereas places that have a high amount of business, I guess, so like you need to go in frequently, so a lot of people would use it. Those parking spaces would be typically higher in price, maybe $3 at the maximum.
What's good about that redevelopment too is they're talking about including an intermodal transportation center, which would help to kind of centralize all forms of transportation. So another big problem is the pedestrian traffic, kind of adding to the congestion. Cars, it takes them longer to circle around downtown because people are crossing the street and getting off the ferry there. So if they had that central area where it would be their first stop, and instead of wandering up through downtown to find different transportations or information they need, they could go to that first stop,
Right.
and maybe find a different form, like get a bus out of there, a taxi out of there, rent a bike out of there. So that would definitely help a lot.
What about the fact that, right now, where we are in time, we're going through a boom, right? This is a real major economic boom. Have you looked at what the town might be like in the future when this boom actually does quiet down?
a part of the problem is the contractor vehicles parking overnight and taking some spots,
Yeah.
which is largely related to the construction boom. But I think that the problem was still present 5-10 years ago before the construction boom, so I don't think that after the economy calms down that there'll be a significant decrease enough to
It wouldn't matter that much?
yeah.
Well, what about, have you thought about the fact that in some places they limit the amount of cars?
Yeah, which we've heard that was attempted over here.
Not really.
Well,
I mean,
there were
it was
talks
brought
of
up,
it.
but it was never. We
Yeah,
never
but
really
no one
went
really
after it.
seriously considered it. It'd just be tough to enforce. I don't know. People. I feel like people wouldn't be very happy with that.
There were some thoughts about constitutional rights and stuff like that, so it becomes kind of a difficult subject to think about as a town.
It costs so much to bring a car here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be the way to try to stop them before they get on the boat?
True.
Or what about if we only had so many cars here that they could use?
True. Yeah, which is a big thing that's been brought up in a lot of our interviews, that people's behavior is tough to change. Like a lot of people over here, or a lot of people that come and visit, especially some of the people who are more well-off, will bring a lot more cars than maybe necessary, and it might be, charging that ridiculous amount might be a better way to disincentivize than charging for parking downtown.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the ferries would be in favor of that, if steamship would
Well,
No.
they work for the state, you
yeah.
know. I mean, they're semi-private. They would be fine with it. They'd have to be
Okay.
fine with it.
But
I still think it would bring people here.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be the issue.
no, but it had been brought up a few times, but I don't know, they turned our focus more towards, I don't know, trying, not necessarily preventing cars, but trying to manage the ones that are over here.
Right. Now,